Hey folks, hope you're well. I've had another good weekend of solving little problems in the back of my mind. Little bubbles have popped, and it's just not just stuff I hadn't even expected to solve. Not the sheepdog conundrum. That's still out there. Who knows when I'll solve that? But I don't know if I ever mentioned this. About 2 years when I learned to drive, I got a car, and I quickly had to swap it back in because the brakes didn't work. I basically did a long journey to Warwickshire, got there, put my foot on the brake. It didn't break and I just drove it into a wall. Luckily, I was going slow, so I drove it back to the shop where I got it, handed it over, went to Ford and bought a brand new car on like a finance thing. About 2 months into having that car, I was parking it in a car park. I drove through the door and a gate just swung open and scratched a chunk out the front bumper. And Claire's been telling me for the 3 years since, or 2 years, 8 months since, that it'll be fine. They won't question it. They won't even look at it. They'll just say, okay, that's a scratch. We'll knock some money off. But when it comes down to brass tacks at the end, they're going to say, this is what your monthly installments are on your car. You're going to say, don't want to pay that. They're going to go back and forth, and then you're going to sort it. So Saturday, I booked in what we were doing. We'd agreed if the car cost virtually the same and it was a Cougar with a camera, I'd drive it. That'd be my car. If it was a smaller car or didn't have a camera, then I didn't really care because I was going to take on Claire's car and she was going to take the new one. Claire's car doesn't have a camera, so I'm kind of boned either way. I'm used to driving and reversing with a camera that I can see behind me with. Now I'm going to have to get used to reversing with just the beepy stuff, which should be okay, but it means a lot of doing this and I'm not used to doing that. I just look at the screen and I can see everything. So yeah, we went to TC Harrison's in Peterborough, and I sort of thought, I know he was aware of the scratches because I've been in there with the car for a service and I mentioned them. And he had kind of mentioned roughly what it would knock off and blah, blah, blah. And he did a look round it and I was just like, ugh. And he just said, other than the scratches, there is nothing. It's fine. It looks good. And I said, it wasn't even my fault. He's like, don't worry about it. Just forget it. We'll just sort out a price. Claire and I did a couple of test drives. We tested a Ford Focus ST Line X and we tested a Ford Puma, which was like a hybrid car. And we thought, being the hippies that we are, the kind of, vegetarians, all of that stuff, the hybrid would be the winner. But my God, did that drag. Like every time Claire would put her foot down, it was like when you put your foot down, it drained petrol and power, but when you took your foot up, it charged the battery with the remaining force. But every time she lifted her foot up, it just felt like the car was being grabbed from behind and yanked. It was just a really clunky kind of, I was just like, it was uncomfortable. And some of that was Claire trying to get the feel of it, but the bloke drove us as well, and it was like, no, this is just, it's not good. So yeah, we picked the Ford Focus ST Line X, and it looks pretty sweet. I was quite impressed actually. He was showing us all the apps and so you can like see where your car is exactly to the kind of dot and walk to it on a map and all this fancy stuff, like rather than just remembering where it is. I mean, it's not that revolutionary, but it was cool. And yeah, she's very excited. So she'd had a very, very rubbish week last week. I don't think I went into it. It's quite stressful actually, just hearing the stories. She had a person that she'd been working very closely with die, not on anything to do with her, just she got a message to say they'd died over Christmas of all things. She was on a case and someone just stopped breathing and she had to take them to hospital. That was pretty mad. She had a couple of things just not go particularly well. She had someone have a go at her, and she talked to him over the phone. They had a go at her, hung up, then rang her boss and told her boss that she was having an affair with their partner. And Claire was just like, I'm not being funny, but he's in prison and like, like I've got better at home. It's like, I said to her like, don't flatter me too much there, But yeah, so she had a really bad week. So I was quite chuffed that she got to try these cars out and then she got to pick one and she was very buzzing because of that. They didn't do anything about the scratches. I felt the bubble go. I felt the pop. Oh, there's nothing there anymore. Oh, I can think about other things. And my brain just, this is what happens. This is how my brain works. This is the cycle that happens. Pop. Okay, that's not a problem anymore. Oh, I've got a bit more time to think. Oh, are you aware, Claire, that your phone should have renewed 6 months ago and you haven't renewed it yet? When I get home, I'll ring EE. She's like, all right, cool. So I went home, rang EE. and talk to them about the phone. I tried to get them to give the money that she'd been overspending, because she was basically paying for the phone still in the contract, but they'd just not put the price down. Didn't really help, but they gave us a really good deal on that in the end. She got an iPhone 11 with like 100 gig of data for like £2 more than she was paying already, and we were trying to keep that a good deal as it was. So it's kind of like the car cost less, the phone cost ever so slightly more, and I had a net win. I'd saved like however much a month, and just thought, boom, succeeding. So that was another thing solved. That little tiny bubble popped. And then just a really silly aside one, and most of you probably won't notice because I still look like a scruffy urchin, but I feel much happier because I bought some new mousse and hairspray, used them both, and my hair looks the same as it did this morning pretty much. I mean, there's a couple of strag ends. I've got to get used to using it, but I'm normally, before these vlogs, I'm standing outside brushing my hair, trying to force it into some sort of tidiness, because when I get home from work, I look in the mirror and I think, oh my God, how long have I been walking around looking that ridiculous? How long has my hair been like flopping up over here and flopping up over there, and I've got a kink at the back? And like we'll go to pick up the kids from nursery, and I see my reflection in the mirror and I'm like, oh my God, they must think I fancy one of them or something, because I'm always doing my hair before they answer the door. They'll be heartbroken to know I don't, and obviously, but the amount of times I just catch my reflection, I think, you look like a troll, and I have to try and fix it. And it doesn't make a massive difference, I still look like a troll, but my God, it was nice just sitting down, light on, camera on, action, job done, no worrying about this. It is like made of iron, you know, it would chink if I hit it hard enough. And yeah, just problem solved. It's been great. So again, bit more brain space there. I don't know what else there really is to worry about. It's weird at the moment. I know they were very minor things, but the scratch on the car was... There were times when I'd think about that late at night, and I'd lay there thinking, they're going to ruin me. They're going to want me to pay like 5, 6, 7, 800 quid. Because there's also the mileage. When I bought it, I wanted to say I was going to do 12,000 a year, and they made me put a slightly lower number, because they were like, you'll never do that. Just see how you go. I did bang on. Well, I did like 12,500 miles a year, because my car's the one we drive to visit family with and stuff like that. So they were like, huh, okay, Claire and the guy were like, we should have listened, because the guy's got, I mean, he must keep notes, because he's got a ridiculously good memory if he doesn't, but he remembered so much. He was like, you have this car, you have this car, you did this, you did that, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, mate, like, because he's not making notes while we're there. He must have we left the room, he must have been filling in Salesforce or whatever. It was absurd the amount of stuff he remembered. But, you know, we keep in touch with him. He's a good bloke. We treat him as like our account manager for cars, and it works pretty well. So I feel confident, you know, that I'm getting a decent enough deal. But yeah, so that was good. It was good relief. I feel like the only pressing problems I have now are obviously the ongoing, what do I talk about when there's nothing to talk about sort of stuff, which is fine. I'm kind of getting used to just talking about life, and you know, hopefully it's entertaining. You're still subscribed, you know, that number's pretty consistent. You're still there. Thank you for that. Hit subscribe if you're not. Obviously the ongoing stuff with Ollie is just going to be pretty much never ending. That has been a bit odd today. I almost started a thing earlier, and I know you'll agree with me. You will agree that this is a reasonable thing to be annoyed about. We got there's an app called Dojo that if your kid's at primary school, your school may well use. They send you updates about the school, and today they put a little picture out. You know, these pupils are, you know, great for their consistent hard work or something like that. Congratulations to them all. And it was just like 18 kids from Ollie's class. It said, you know, these kids are always consistently good at hard work or something like that. And they're all just like, they look really miserable, to be fair to them. They just were like, but I just read it and I just thought, why are you sending that to all the parents in the class? I don't need to know that 18 other kids are considered outstandingly hardworking or whatever. My kid's hard work is just sitting down. It's just listening to what you're saying. My kid's hard work is putting up with the fact someone's making a noise over there while someone's blown off over there, and somebody else is making a weird noise on a board while they're wearing a t-shirt that's too loud, and I'm annoyed that something's happened and blah, blah. And, you know, like, to give an example, we told Ollie Claire was getting a new phone. We were like, oh, it's exciting. You know, Mummy's getting a new iPhone. And he was so gutted. He was so stressed. He went to bed. He came down like 8 times to ask questions and talk about things and what are we doing tomorrow. What colour's the phone going to be? I don't want you to get a new phone. And we kept saying the first 6 times it was just I don't know. We were just kind of back and forth talking to him, trying to get him back up there. And I said to him, "What's the matter? What is upsetting you? You're not happy?" Because it wasn't clear that it was about that. And he just pointed at the phone and he said, "I don't want you to get a new phone." And we were like, nothing's going to change. Like, you're still going to have the apps you like to play on. It's going to be faster. It's going to work better. This phone's just going to go off. We're going to sell that. It's going to go on like eBay or whatever. Job's a good one. And, this will be great. You'll get used to it. It's just a new phone. And he's like, no, I don't want a new phone. I want this to be the phone that you keep forever. And it really stressed him out. So he might go, I don't know how he now feels about it so much. We've talked about it a bit. But, going into school on Monday, that would have still been fresh in his head. The phone's arriving today. It's not the red phone, the case on it. It's going to be a purple phone now, and it's and he was upset about it. I wasn't going to be there that night. I went out with work last night for a leaving do. And he knew that I explained that was going to happen. So he was worrying about that. And I just thought, in his world, that's all little things in his head going off, and he's thinking about it. And he's upset about it, and he's exhausting himself with it. And they've got new teachers taking over for bits because his teacher's been given like a role to take part-time on top of her teaching. So he's got to deal with that change and that sort of new stuff. And I don't know, I just got this message and I just thought, what a badly thought out thing. Like, I know that teacher's just thought, these kids have been great today, I'll take a picture of them. The other kids not in the picture, the 12 kids not in the picture, I'm assuming that Ollie was probably in the sensory room, judging by what he said today. Actually, he did have to go to it. I'll get to that in a minute. I'm guessing some of the other kids were in similar situations. Some were off sick, some were just out of the room, some maybe weren't there, whatever. Ollie often doesn't want his picture taken. But the point is that it was worded in a way that suggested the ones not there didn't have that accolade. They didn't try hard. They weren't doing lots and all that kind of thing. And I just felt a bit miffed. And I messaged Claire about it, but she was really busy at work. She didn't see it. So I was just furious. I was like, I want to comment and just say, sod the other 12 though, eh? And then I was going to just put, well done everyone, what about the rest? And then I thought about putting the other kids are trying, doing lots of hard work, just trying to cope with the day. And then I just thought, don't comment. You've already been called into the school for making comments that they didn't really think you were going to do. So then I tried, this is awful, I feel really bad for this, but I messaged another mum who I know, and their kid wasn't in the picture either, and I just vented a bit to her about it, and she was just like, well, I hope that they just meant it in a nice way and they didn't mean it negatively. And I kind of, in the back of my mind, thought, I was kind of hoping you'd comment. I was kind of hoping you'd just go and have a little whinge, and I'd be like, Richard Bass likes this comment. But no, they didn't. They just said, yeah, that is pretty rubbish. I saw that too. Not happy with it. Claire commented and agreed with me. And I just felt like it's not mean. It's just a bit. It's a bad tone. I can't figure out. It's like, it's just. Is it toneless? Is that the phrase you use? It's just missed the kind of wider point. It's kind of made the right point in the wrong way. I would have rather have them said, what a great day these guys have had, or these guys have worked really hard today, well done. But to say they consistently worked really hard implied that people there didn't, and it just felt like it was saying you're not considered a good student because of this. Other than that as well, I feel like we need to have a chat with school at the moment. Sorry, Molly's making loads of noise if you can hear her. She likes just getting involved in the vlogs. But yeah, we haven't had a call or an email or anything, but Ollie came out very sheepish today and wouldn't look at Claire, was kind of hiding from her. And when they got to the car, he sort of said that they'd be finished PE and he really wanted to go and get changed, and he was trying to get through the door, and his standing sort of teacher had told him not to, and he wanted to because that's what he wanted to do, so he went for the door. She went in between him and the door and apparently kind of whacked her on the shoe or something. I don't really know how that works unless he was sulking on the floor. But then he got taken to one side by his teacher. Then his teacher went and had a chat with the head about the situation. And I don't know what I don't know what she said. Don't know what happened. But he then got taken to the sensory room for a bit to cool off. But I was just kind of like, we haven't been told anything. But this is the third time now that I'm aware of that the first 2 of the 3 times somebody's gone between him and what he wanted and like physically obstructed him, and it's caused him to physically react. And it's not dramatic, he's not like right hooking him in the face, it's just he's physically acting out in a space kind of way, because he feels like he's been imposed upon. The other time, I don't remember, we don't know the exact scenario, they just were telling him it was time to do something, he wasn't ready, he didn't want to go there and then, he was finishing what he was doing, whatever, and they've kind of threatened him and told him he needed to do it now, and they've pushed him to do it, and that's caused him to lash out. And it's like, this is 3 times now, and they're not fully telling us. We're getting the story from Ollie, and we're getting the story from them that he struck someone or he's done something slightly physical, and they're okay, and it's not left a mark, and it wasn't aggressive, it was just the situation. And then Ollie's told us why he did it, and it's like, come on, like we should be beyond this now. So I have spent, like, again, the afternoon just thinking, why do we keep doing this? Do we not just need to try and get him in somewhere? I don't know. It's like, he loves having his friends in mainstream and stuff like that, but I don't know. You know, people have said to me there's a bit of a stigma attached to going to a school that's different, and I don't really know if that really matters. Like, I don't feel like there is a stigma. I feel like there's a stigma to getting out of school and not having many qualifications, you know. But then even then, it doesn't matter. Like, I know people who left, you know, college with nothing. I left college with C's and B's, which is okay. But I left school with C's and B's, which is okay. I left college with D's, and, you know, went on and got a first class honours degree, like, when I was a bit older. You know, and I know people on that course who had no GCSEs and had to do little bits of top up stuff. I know people who are doing that now. You know, it doesn't really matter, really. I just want him to have a happy time, and I'm thinking maybe we need to, once we've got these calls and this diagnosis and all of that sorted, that should hopefully give us a bit of a kick to say, look, do you know what, this isn't right for him. But then we're probably not the only ones, and I don't know how dramatic it needs to get before that's reasonable. I don't really get it. But it's just frustrating, and I keep wanting to say something but not knowing how to say it right or deliver it properly. I think what might be best, and let me know if you agree, I might just email the lady who's responsible for reviewing the EHCP and just saying, I think we need a meeting. I think it's been long enough. You know, September, October, November, December, January, February will be 6 months. Let's have a review. Talk about the fact that people keep getting in between him and what he's... Yes, I don't want him to get what he wants, if that makes sense. I don't want him to pander to him. I don't want him to say, okay, Your Highness, here is what you asked for. But if they know it's what he wants, they need to either redirect, they either need to try and say, let's just have a moment, let's just descend to the floor, sit on the chair, whatever it is, and just say, like, stop a second, listen to me. You know, you can be reasoned with. It's just, it doesn't see, and I know it's not easy when you've got 30 kids, but I do it with 3. That's just as hard with a toddler. But yeah, anyway, it has been a decent weekend. Worried about him a little bit. The night out was really fun, although on the way out from the night out, I stopped to have a chat with 2 of my colleagues in the car park. We ended up chatting for about an hour and 20 minutes. I came back so cold. Like, I was ringing Claire, I was like, please put the kettle on, I am frozen. I felt like my nose was just made of ice. I felt like the chill was with me all night. And then this morning I felt a little bit better, but our office was cold. So I just need a hot bath before I go to bed or something, I don't know. It's so bloody cold. But it didn't help, just standing in this car park, I was just there in my work shirt and trousers, so I didn't have a coat on or anything. And oh my God, very cold. Other than that, everything's cool. As I say, the only Sheepdog conundrums are the long-term vloggy stuff, and I can't even remember what the other one is. I mean, what I want to do with life is the main thing, isn't it? I'll figure that out eventually. This seems to be the theme of the vlog, as always, figuring out who I am, which I just, one day. Other than that, I say all good, everyone's happy. Claire's had a much better day today. No one's accused her of anything. She's got a new phone. It's all been good. So yeah, hope you're all well. Let me know how your weekend went. Let me know how you're getting on. Let me know all the ongoing stuff. I know plenty of you have got threads where we talk about ongoing stories in the comments. You know, carry that on. It's all good. It's all welcome. And I hope you're all well. Cheers, and I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.